Day 2 of a key hearing to lay out the evidence against Charlie Kirk's accused killer about to get underway in Utah. After Kirk's widow, Erica, and his family came face to face with him for the first time yesterday. We're expecting her back in court at the top of the hour as well. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
Morning to you. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning at home. Graphic testimony, as you can well understand. And disturbing video on day 1. It's a 5-day preliminary hearing. It's going to happen every day this week. Erica Kirk deciding to leave the courtroom to avoid watching videos of her husband's horrific murder. When at least 2 of those videos were shown, there were only certain people who watched that, including the judge and the witness and the lawyers. A former campus police officer giving testimony about video that shows a person getting into position on the roof and taking a shot, and then after that shot was fired, running away.
That same officer then describes what he found after rushing up 4 flights of stairs onto the rooftop.
To me, when I got up there and I could see this disturbance in gravel, to me it looks like a sniper pad, a person that has been laying in a prone position, and you've got markings of elbows, knees, and feet to where somebody was in the line of sight of where Charlie's tent was.
Copy. So criminal defense attorney Josh Ritter is now here, Fox News contributor outside the courthouse in Provo, Utah. Top line message from you, Josh, about what you heard on day 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, it set the tone for how quickly, or rather how not so quickly, this prelim is going to proceed. We're seeing that the defense is really fighting every single piece of evidence that comes in. For every video that they wanted marked by the prosecution as an exhibit, for every picture that the prosecution tried to mark as an exhibit, the defense would stand up and launch several objections, which the judge would have a miniature hearing on. So it made for a very laborious day to hear some of this evidence admitted. But we did get some significant information. One was that sniper pad that was described by one of the officers, where you could literally see where they alleged that Tyler Robinson was positioning himself before taking that shot. Some other pieces of information about just kind of the atmospherics on the day at the campus and how people reacted. Some other pieces of video and some photographs. But today we're hoping to get to more of the information that has to do with Robinson himself, text messages, the letter that he left behind, comments that he made to his roommate.
I want to play a little bit more from the lead state investigator who spoke yesterday about the first priority and the large volume there.
It kind of became organized chaos, but we did have a plan, and our priority was determining whether we had an ability or a way to be able to identify who had been involved in the shooting. We were getting a large volume of information from the general public, phone tips, people sending videos. Analysts were scrolling through social media and social sites as people were posting information onto the internet. So there was a lot of information coming in.
It's a very modern investigation because you have all sorts of different viewpoints. And I read that when the video was shown in the courtroom that the judge himself winced at it. And I'm wondering if we have any information. Did Tyler Robinson have any reaction to that video being played?
You know, the way that the cameras are positioned, you cannot see his face. You're looking at the back of his head for most of the day. But from speaking to some of the reporters that we had inside of the courtroom, he's rather expressionless. We remember times before when he's been in court, he's been seen smiling, even laughing with his attorneys. So far, at least yesterday, he's been almost without reaction to much of the testimony in court.
Josh, thank you for coming on today. We'll let you get back inside court. It'll begin again a bit later this hour on day 2. Thank you,
Josh.
That pretrial hearing, a painful reminder for Charlie Kirk's friends and family. Andrew Kolvet's become a friend of ours, executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show and Turning Point USA spokesperson. Andrew, good day to you. Dana mentioned this moment. Here is the video. I talked about at least 2 videos being shown to the witness, the defendant, the lawyers, and the judge. Here is the video when the judge flinched watching some of this previously unseen video. So we, many of us reacted More dramatically than that, here's the Kirk family statement. Every court proceeding serves as a painful reminder of his death and the loss that has irrevocably impacted our lives and the lives of his children. Andrew, you want transparency. You want the system to play out. You'll get cameras in the courtroom. I know you're not there, but watching this as a friend, how you feel?
Yeah, it's awful, honestly. Everybody, all the team, all the staff. I talked to a lot of people yesterday just here at campus, and it was like everybody was having a terrible day. It's like we're being forced to relive this. And so it's bittersweet. We want to see justice for Charlie. We want to see transparency. We want the public to be able to see this evidence. But for us, it's reliving one of the worst days that you can imagine. And my heart is completely with Erica and Charlie's parents, Rob and Kathy, as they have to navigate what can only be described as an excruciating experience being in that courtroom. And so I think mixed emotions, Bill. It's difficult.
You mentioned Erica, of course, and this is the family statement that every court proceeding serves as a painful reminder of his death and the loss that has irrevocably impacted our lives and lives of its children. I'm sorry, Bill, you might have already read that. I guess my mind has been going back to that day on September 11th of last year, and I read that you said that you trust that justice will be done. Tell us more about that belief that it will turn out right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's what I will tell you is I've had so many countless behind-the-scenes conversations, whether that's with prosecutors that are unrelated to the case or people that just understand the way that this system's going to play out and the way this process is going to play out. And, you know, I've been told time and time again that the case here is overwhelming, that there's a ton of evidence regardless of how you look at it. And I do trust, if you look at the way Judge Graff is going about this, he's very deliberate, he's very disciplined, he's calling balls and strikes. I like some of what he does. I get frustrated at other things that he does, but I do see that everybody involved in this seems to be taking it very seriously. They're being very professional. And listen, we have a justice system that has to work, that has to be able to show you know, sunlight is the best disinfectant, as they said. So that's why we've always been pro putting cameras in there, pro letting as much information and evidence out into the public as possible, because we think ultimately people are going to realize, hey, the justice system worked, and we see the evidence, you know, and you know, listen, he's innocent until proven guilty, and that's the process we have, and we're going to let it play out. But yeah, we have to trust that Charlie's going to get justice.
Right, and Erica wanted cameras in the courtroom too. Just to paraphrase, at one point she said, "This was a very public murder of my husband. I want, you know, we should continue to show the public what happened here." It must be exceedingly difficult for her to be there.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to say thank you to Don Jr., Brandon Tatum, Jack Posobiec. We have so many friends that are in there, and her friends and family that decided to go to Utah to be with her, both inside the courtroom and outside. I decided it was better to be here with the team, and I'm grateful for that. I don't know how I would have reacted being in that courtroom, having to breathe the same air. I just don't know. You know, and so I'm grateful to the support that she's received, both like I said, in the courtroom, but all around the country. It's been overwhelming yesterday. I can tell you it was really heartening in that way, just to see all the support flooding in, both for Erica and the team.
Andrew Kolvet, thank you. We'll stay in touch with you as this continues.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Dana. Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.